We've got some
Hey,
fresh new
I'm
young
Luis.
talent
And
doing some
I'm
things that I
Luis.
know you haven't
And you're
heard
listening to the
before.
Content is Profit podcast.
Here's an appetizer. I just asked the AI, hey, can you give me some headlines for a podcast in which we talk about using ChatGPT to facilitate content creation? And he gave me the following. Revolutionizing content creation with GPT-3, how ChatGPT is making it easier than ever. GPT-3 and ChatGPT, the future of content creation is here. I think I like this one. He gave me 5, but I'm not going to read all 5. They're pretty good.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty
Sounds
decent.
good. We encourage everybody to go listen to the latest episode where we actually define what ChatGPT is. We explore some of the things I've done, why they actually got downloaded more than 1 million times in less than 5 days, and many other things. And I think it was like 3 things that you can apply in your content. Right now, this is the case study. We've both been playing with it. Right?
Yeah, I really like it. It's very useful, but definitely by far my favorite thing to do with it is just ask it random facts. Like, yo, teach me something that I don't know about an entrepreneur. And it just throws some random facts about entrepreneurs I never heard about in my life. Yesterday, it talked to me about the first women entrepreneur that released like billboard ads. I was like, that is so cool.
That is cool. Tell me something about it. Did you learn?
I forgot the name of the entrepreneur.
Did you retain?
But it was in the beauty industry, actually. She was the first woman to kind of like break through the women industry. That was a male-dominated industry, funny enough. And she did it through ads and billboards. And her brand still stands today.
Oh,
Pretty epic. Pretty
sounds
epic.
good.
Yep.
All right, so like every new technology, right? Something that we like to do is we like to tinker, we like to play with it. That's how we actually build a content system on the machine that we have together with our team. Actually, we have a whole day tomorrow where we're going to be working through some business stuff, FONZI and myself. And that's one of the things, right? And with everything that moves forward so fast, right? There's new things coming out. And that's why we are such big fans of your own your own framework on how to produce different things. We worked so far with many companies, and a common question is like, hey, what's the secret formula? What is the thing that we have to follow? And yes, there are some frameworks that can get you started, right? We talked about this in the past. But at the same time, we also look at how do you develop your own how based on your own resources, on your own capacity as a company, right? Do you have a team? Is it just yourself? Like, is it now AI that's going to help you do some of this stuff, right? A lot of the big hangups for a lot of people is like, I don't know what to talk about, even though they're experts in the industry in so many ways. Sometimes there's so writer block or creation block that doesn't allow them to produce to the best of their ability. So that's why we are so excited about a platform like this, like ChatGPT and the AI that brings, because it can unlock that, right? We're not saying go ahead and copy exactly what ChatGPT is delivering to you, right? You can use this as a research tool, as an inspiration tool, as prompts. You can feed in transcripts of your own content that you already created to grab and do the legwork, right, of some assets that you might need later on to produce. And that's what we're actually going to break down today, because I ran our entire process after recording the episode, and I discovered some interesting things.
Yeah. I mean, I think the disclaimer there is just don't copy and paste whatever it gives you.
Yeah.
Because you cannot claim its work as yours. There's actually some legal repercussions there that we are not 100% clear of what they are. So, you know, that is the disclaimer. Act in accordance to your own, responsibility. But it's just like plagiarism. You're not going to go and copy and paste somebody else's work. The AI did it, not you. So use it as a base, as a foundation to kickstart your own ideas.
Yeah. So the case study that we're going to be sharing with you guys today is actually from our own episode, our own framework, our content creation framework. It's called M2M, right? What we do is we record a long form podcast conversation, like with the one that we're having right now, whether that's solo or with a guest. And then from that piece of content, there's a ton of assets that come out, including social media assets, clips, shorts, reels, emails, Twitter threads, tweets. There's a ton of stuff that can come out, right? But based on our own capacity, personally, me and Fonzie, right? And the team's capacity. Sometimes they're working on clients' projects, right? And sometimes we leave the podcast to the very end, right? And this is something that we're working on our own process. The output changes, right? But the one that never, ever gets missed is the long form content. Now, a lot of people out there today are creating long form content, but they're stopping just at that, and they're not leveraging, right, that episode that you could potentially be creating and dissecting different pieces of content so you can put out there, whether that's organic or paid, so you can start building your audience, so you can start getting feedback, what's working, what's not, what ideas are attractive, right, to the audience. And what was interesting to me is like, okay, the hypothesis was, well, some of the assets that we have on the back end after we record the episode, right? That episode goes through a production process where we get the audio and the final MP4, which are the main pieces of content that we publish, right? The podcast that is in the wonderful Hotspot Podcast Network, that is. And then after that, it goes through the M2M pipeline, which is where we create these assets, right? So for example, that output, right, the total amount of assets that come out of that, we call it content ecosystem, right? Those pieces of content, or the content map, the content map that we're going to put out there. So for us, it can vary between, anywhere from 5 to 20 pieces of content, depending if it's really good, right? Or the editing that it's done on the back end. So any thoughts there, Fonz? That was a good recap to kind of map it out. Okay, cool.
Decent.
Yeah. Okay, so
7 out of 10.
One of the friction points that we've had that we've solved in a very creative way before AI was, okay, from this episode, what are some of the ideas and what's the recap? What's the podcast description, right? What's the blog post that might go with that episode, right? What is the thing that we write? What's the email that we can send out to our email list? Which, by the way, we have not sent emails because that's where our capacity reach. We don't have somebody it's right now in the internal podcast team that can write those things, right? And that's where I was like, okay, maybe there's some opportunity here with the ChatGPT that we can feed him a transcript of the episode and the AI can analyze it and give us those written things that we can actually use it for content, or we can actually develop more ideas, right? So again, disclaimer, don't copy and paste what the chat is giving to you.
Chad? We're going to call the chat.
Chad is given to you. So this is the exact process I did with my episode. And I actually was really happy about it, and we might implement it, right? So we recorded the podcast episode, then we downloaded that podcast episode. Sometimes if we record solo like this, we'll be recording in a software called Descript, which you actually record and it transcribes at the same time. So we're saving a ton of time there. And then I'll grab that transcript and I'll actually go to Chad's application and I'll copy that transcript and I'll give him a prompt. I'll be like, hey, can you please write a podcast description based on this transcript? And I paste the transcript and it goes and does it, right? So it will give you a prompt. It will give you a text that you can put as a podcast description, which is super exciting, right? So actually, I have that episode pulled out here. And I'm going to go. But Fonzie, in the meantime, you've been playing with it. What are you doing right now?
Yeah, I just got an idea. I was like, what if can we actually get it to distinguish specific moments within the podcast and help us out with that? Because yesterday when I was using it, I was like, okay, can you pull a podcast description out of this transcript, right? And I put the transcript of the podcast. And I'm not going to lie, like, it did it. But I wasn't very like happy with it. I was like, okay, it's decent.
Do you put try again?
I was like, it's decent. I didn't put try again.
You could put try again, or you could be like, hey, can you do a second version of this?
Yeah. So I was like, okay, interesting. I didn't like it that much, especially the points the AI was like, we covered, and then he gave me like a bullet point section, and it wasn't really that good. It was like an introduction to whatever, but obviously
you can spice it up, right?
I should, exactly. But I should have been like, can you tell me what we covered in a headline form to see if we can actually do it that way? But right now, I was like, I'm curious if it can actually pull important moments or quotes from the episode, right? So I put a new request literally as you were speaking, and I was like, hey, can you help me spot key moments in the podcast transcript? Paste below. Mm-hmm. And I put it, and then it gave me an answer. It was a long transcript. I'm still scrolling. Here are some key moments in the transcript you provided. So it says, introduction to the podcast and welcome back. Discussion of ChatGPT and how it's been trending in the tech world. Description of the AI. It gave me like 6 different points, 7 different points. And I was like, okay, I wanted something more in depth, but I didn't give it that prompt, right? I didn't give it that answer. So I was like, can you pull some quotes from these moments? Sure. Here's some potential quotes from the key moments in the transcript. So
I mean,
it did pull quotes.
yeah.
They're not the best quotes, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, how can we nail down how we give instructions to this thing so we can actually, make it work even better. So I think you need to be very, very specific. But for example, one of the quotes that, I really enjoy was, I like jumping on Twitter. Specifically, I like to see both sides of different teams fighting against each other. It brings a little bit of joy to my heart.
that is definitely your quote. This is awesome. So again, this is a great source for inspiration. Obviously, that material that it gives you, it just really, for me at least, that was always a mental thing, a big lift that I had to have, like probably another hour or 2 hours after a podcast if you're doing it yourself, right? Or if you have a virtual assistant, just the training part of it. Like, how does it work? Obviously, there are agencies that do that for other people, right? We do that on the video side of things, right? And that's why we're trying to leverage this tool to speed up the process. So if you have an agency, right, that's another tool that you can use to speed up the process and maybe increase capacity, right? So the specific outputs that I asked yesterday was, I asked for 2 podcast descriptions. I asked for an SEO optimized blog post. I asked for 10 tweets, a Twitter thread, and a LinkedIn post, right? So here are the exact commands I used inside of chat.
The prompts.
The prompts, yeah. So the first one for the podcast description was, hey, can you please create a podcast description including top 3 to 5 lessons based on this transcript, right? And this is short, so I'm going to read it real quick, right? In today's episode, we're discussing ChatGPT, the artificial intelligence chat app that has taken the tech world by storm. We've been playing with it and have some conclusions and facts to share with you. We'll explain what ChatGPT is and provide 3 ways you can use it in your own content creation efforts. We'll also share the top 5 lessons we learned from our experience with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is the app from OpenAI, a for-profit artificial intelligence or a non-profit. We have to fix that, right? Research and development company with a mission to ensure the artificial blah, 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 blah. Okay.
I know. I'm going to give you for Christmas. Reading classes.
Reading classes. Perfect. But anyway, so like Fonzie said, like I did not like that description too much. And then I asked for a second one. I'm not going to read the second one. If you want to know which ones, just let me know. But try it out with one of your transcripts, right? And the second one was a little bit better. And then you go into the SEO optimized blog post, which to me entails opportunity, right? We've been thinking about, hey, how can we use one piece of content, right, or the output of that to generate more on the other end based on whatever feedback that is. So that SEO optimized script that he gave me was a really good base for a YouTube specific video, right? So it can give you those ideas and you can map it out and then you can develop a little bit more with your expertise, right? And this literally takes less than 5 minutes to find out, right? Then, so for the SEO specific blog post, the prompt was, can you write an SEO optimized blog post based on the transcript? No science, no crazy science there. And same thing, right? Can you create a Twitter thread based on this transcript? I think when you ran this inside of the text app, right, it didn't let you do it, but I was able to do it on my end. So if I think,
yeah, because I put something about creating a Twitter thread, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I cannot create content for you, something like that. So I feel like you need to find like a workaround. What did you do?
I actually wrote that. Can you write a Twitter thread based on the transcript? But I was thinking the same way because when you gave me that feedback, I'm like, okay, well, specific, what is a Twitter thread? A Twitter thread is, a list of maybe 10 thoughts in different tweets right under another one. So you can be like, okay, what are 10 main ideas from this episode? And it will give you 10 main ideas, and then you can transform that into a Twitter thread if you are focused into that, right? So I think at least to me, the big win has been probably the podcast description where it can give you a prompt that you like. Is it giving it to you?
Yeah, now it's giving it to me.
There you go.
Give it to me.
Give it to him.
Is that in a song? It says, I said, can you write a Twitter thread out of the main ideas in this transcript? Sure. Here's a potential Twitter thread based on the main ideas in the transcript you provided. Welcome back to Content Profit Podcast. We're diving into the topic of ChatGPT and how it's trending in the tech world. ChatGPT is an AI we discover on Twitter and are blown away by. In today's episode, we'll be defining ChatGPT, sharing 3, blah, blah, blah. I think it's good, but this is the thing. I wonder if we can you create an educational Twitter thread based on the transcript? Because this is just promotion, right? And it's just like, hey, we did this. But honestly, personally, I'm more leaning into exactly like education-based content. That's what you see that is working. So I think it would be interesting because for pulling something, for writing something educational based, I think it needs to really understand the idea, like synthesize it, and then being able to share it and reframe it in an educational way for in a Twitter thread form, right? Which is pretty
and again,
tough.
keep in mind, right? We it depends on like how much education you actually do from your main piece of content, right? So we're telling him like we're telling the chat to do it from our transcript. So again, it's gonna be based on what you say, which is to me the right way that you should do it. You already are the expert, right? So develop those topics, right? These will help you kind of either map them out or give you some prompts or ideas. And then based on your transcript, your 30-minute, 20-minute, 1 hour transcript, right? Based off of that is going to give it to you. So the more information that you share on your main piece of content, the more is actually gonna help you do. But, you know, for me, a big win was I was able to modify the LinkedIn post that I did. And Fonzie loves writing. I enjoy doing videos a little bit more. So to me, like, this is a great tool because it can help me do that prompt. And then Fonzie's doing amazing faces. Hold on, Fonzie. And then for me, written content on LinkedIn was never the first choice, but it's really well received on that platform. So I did it this morning, and it's actually one of the top performers, the posts that I've done personally in the last like 3 months, and got some reactions, some comments, which is great. So I'm ready to continue to explore. So, okay, you gave him a different prompt. What did you do?
Yeah, so you say, can you write the same thread in an educational voice? We're looking to deliver value to the reader. And it said, sure, here's a potential Twitter thread with an educational focus. Greetings, fellow content creators. I'm coming from Mars. In today's episode, we'll be discussing the AI tool ChatGPT and how it can benefit your content creation process. ChatGPT, also known as GPT-3, is a state-of-the-art language process AI, blah, blah, blah. In this thread, we'll be sharing 3 ways you can use ChatGPT to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of your content creation efforts. First, ChatGPT can help with idea generation and brainstorming by providing suggestions and inspiration for topics and angles to explore. Second, it can assist with the writing process by providing suggestions and completions for sentences and paragraphs. Third, it can help with editing and proofreading by identifying and suggesting corrections for grammar and spelling errors. We hope this thread has provided valuable information on how GPT can support your content creation efforts.
I think that sounds very educational. I like it.
Let me put... Can you add...
By the way, we have 2 minutes.
Can you add a headline to this thread? Let's see if it has a pretty good hook, right? Sure, here's a potential headline. 3 ways ChatGPT can improve your content creation process. Alternatively, here are a few other potential headlines. I appreciate the extra work,
plump. There we go.
Under promise, over deliver.
Oh boy, like this will
unleashing the power of ChatGPT. How to use this AI tool to support your content creation efforts. That's good.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. So how are you including this in your process? We're going to continue to explore like on the post-production. This takes legit 5 minutes to give to you like some good options that you can use and modify and tweak on your voice as well. I think it's very exciting. I think for us, the podcast description is something that we might be looking into. The blog post based on that episode, I think is good. It gives them a good structure that we can put in there. Potential scripts for YouTube as well. Like you can start, if you're not creating them right now, it's okay. You can still have the script and put it in a database where you can keep track of the videos that you can make if you want, right? So I think this is super exciting. Fonzie, any last thoughts?
No, I'm excited to see where this is going to go. I mean, with the amount of usage that is getting, it's just going to get better and better and better. Yep. So I'm excited. I mean, it does... I personally am one of those people that like opposed to using AI to create content. I'm like, people need to learn how to think, and I feel like this is gonna turn people a little bit lazy. But at the same time, I definitely see the value when it comes to kickstarting ideas, or maybe some of the more not so rewarding writing, right? Like for example, the podcast description, which, let's be honest, it cannot
Do
be
you read the podcast description?
Let
us know.
I was gonna say it cannot be. It might not be the most exciting thing to write about, right? But this can help you, like you said, like synthesize all the information from your transcript and put a description pretty good that then you can format it in a little bit more efficient way. Now, will I write my emails with ChatGPT? If I'm being honest, no, I think I'll prefer writing those. Will it write my content for me? I don't think so. I think I'll prefer to write those myself. Maybe I would be like, hey, give me ideas. I like the hey, give me ideas based on this structure and this topic that I'm looking to talk about, right? And of course, I'll be using it for my daily random fact.
I think you can write emails. I think you can write the SEO blogs. I think you can test a ton of stuff, right? We're clearly very different on how we approach content, but I think it also represents an opportunity. If a lot of people are using this, then it's gonna become obvious that a lot of people are using this tool to not develop their own voice and their own content. So the ones that do develop their own voice and their own content, I think they're gonna stick out. So again, this is why I'm a big fan of create your long form first in video and then use this tool to elevate that long form and your own process and your own thoughts based off of that. So not backwards, not use the AI to then create your thing and then use the AI to enhance it. Okay, good.
Last word. I think ChatGPT just called you a snowflake. Just gonna throw that in there. I was like, can you teach me a daily random fact? And it's like, yeah, here's your daily random fact. Did you know that the world's largest snowflake is called LUISDA? Nah, I'm kidding. It didn't say that. But it says the largest snowflake on record fell in Montana in January 28th. My birthday is January 29. Don't forget to send me a birthday present. In 1887, the snowflake measured 15 inches wide and 8 inches thick. Bro, that's like a block of ice.
Bro.
Yeah.
That was freaking the Yeti just throwing a snowball at you.
Yeah, like how's that even a snowflake? But whatever. That's
okay, guys,
funny.
new podcast idea, random fact of the day. Just ask ChatGPT and then you read it and then there you go. That's your podcast.
Oh, dude,
okay.
Bro, that is perfect. Here, for your idea. That could be a real series right there.
Yeah.
Super top of funnel, entertaining, just get people's attention.
Okay, go ahead, try it out.
Yeah.
We're going to try it out. Let's see what happens. All right, with that said, thank you so much for tuning to the Contents Profit Podcast. Go ahead and follow the show in your favorite podcasting platform and on social media at BIZBROS Co.
That is right. If today's episode helped you move one step closer towards your goal, please don't forget to share it and leave a 5-star review.
Bro, ChatGPT is going to be so confused.
I know.
Okay.
I was trying to measure the music, you know?
Bye, guys.